Alrighty, let's get this going here. We're going to do a Spring Semester 2018 review, part 1, because there will be multiple parts here. So let's see how far I can get in the time limit that I may give myself. But we shall find out. We shall find out. Alright, let's look at number 1. Alright, so for the first 3, again, we want to use what is called MapMan, where again, if you add... I'll squeeze it in here. When you multiply, you add exponents. When you have parentheses, you multiply the exponents. When you add, you do nothing with the exponents. So in these cases, most of these, and then again, keep in mind, if I say I multiply, add, when I divide, I subtract. Okay, so here, what I would do. Okay, so for the first ones, I would multiply the big numbers, the coefficients, which would be 19 times 12 times negative 2. And when I do that, I get, for number 1, I've got negative 456. Okay, and then I'm going to add the exponents. Now, because these are all multiplying, the only time you're really going to multiply, or think parentheses means like when you have like that exponent that's there by itself, like on number 3. So here, this is 1 plus 1 plus negative 12, which would give me x to the negative 10 power, and then 19 plus 3, which would give me y to the 22nd power. Now, to finish this out, when you have a negative exponent, it needs to go to the bottom. All of these obviously would be multiple choice, so this should hopefully make that easier. But there you go. So that would be your answer for number 1. Negative 456 y to the 22nd over x to the 10th. Notice how that became positive. Okay, so here I would multiply the coefficients again, same thing, 13 times negative 6, and I would get negative 78. That's different. Coefficients can be negative. It's the exponents that can be negative. So here I've got negative 5 and 1, which would give me x to the negative 4. Negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. 9 plus 2 is y to the 11. And then same thing. This one would go down, so I would have negative 78, y to the 11th on top, and then an x to the 4th on the bottom. You know what? On this one, what I might do is go ahead and try to do all this stuff in the inside. So when you divide, you subtract. Or when you have coefficients, you divide. So 28 divided by 14 is 2. 8 minus 4 is x to the 4th. 9 minus 18 is y to the negative 9. And all of that is squared. Now we put an exponent there. Remember, this one is going to go to the bottom, so I'll just move it down after I've multiplied. So 2 times 1 is 2. So that would be 2 squared, which would be 4. So for number 3, I have 4. 4 times 2 is 8, x to the 8th. And then 9 times 2 is 18, so that would be y to the 18th. I moved it down to the bottom because of the negative. And there you go. There's our first 3. Don't forget, those are MapMan. Very simple. Okay, so on these 4, 5, and 6, those are simple. You just got to combine your like terms. So like 9x squared plus 2x squared is 11x squared. Negative 6x doesn't combine with anything, so that's negative 6x. Negative 15 plus a negative 7 would be negative 22, and you're done. And then here, number 5, keep in mind this is minus, so you got to be careful there. Different ways you could approach this. You could say negative 7 minus 11, or you could say, okay, I'm going to do this, change the sign of every single thing. So now I'm saying negative 7 plus negative 11, which is negative 18x squared. Negative 3x plus negative 16x, which would be negative 19x, and 15 plus a 6, which would be 21. And then here on number 6, okay, we got to distribute. This one's going to be multiplication. So negative 12 times 10 is negative 120. X times x is x squared. Y times y cubed would give me y to the 4th. So I'm just going to add exponents on those. Negative 12 times negative 4 would be positive 48. I'm doing it here under because I ran out of space. X times x is x squared. Y times y is y squared. And then negative 12 times 10 is negative 120 again. X, y to the 3rd. Because 1y and 2y's gives me 3y's. And that's pretty much it. So all you had to do on those was, for the most part, add and subtract. More than likely, I would think you would get these two for the test. I haven't really looked at it, but I need to. And I will get a chance. Okay, on these 7 through 10, it says like long division or synthetic division. Let's be fully honest. I can show y'all long division. I'll do that in class. But This is a multiple choice. So if you can solve it any way, whatever way you can solve it is just fine. So let's say if you understand synthetic division, you can do these all by synthetic division. So let's look at that. So on number 7, keep in mind I'm dividing by the x minus 4. Well, whatever that is there, I would put the opposite. So that would be a 4. And then I would go, okay, 9, negative 37, and 4. Bring down the 9. 9 times 4 is 36. 30, that would give me negative 1. Negative 1 times 4 is negative 4. So I would get an answer of 0. So when I divide, here I would get, remember this was x squared, so that means this is 9x minus 1 with no remainder. On number 8, I have a positive 10, because again the opposite of a minus 10 is positive 10. And I would have 9, negative 111, because, well, why not? Negative 200, or positive 216, and negative 60. What are some of these people thinking? Anyways, I'm bringing down the 9. Again, 9 times 10 is 90. Negative 111 plus 90 would be negative 21. 210, that would be 210, negative 210. And then 216 minus 210 would be 6. And 10 times 6 is 60. Because sure, why not? And I would get a 0. Now again, keep in mind if this was x cubed, this one is x squared. So I have 9x squared minus 21x plus 6. So they came out even. And again, if you wanted me to show you this by long division, I can do that in class. But I would not do that here. Alright, so let's look at number 9. Same thing, same result. Change the minus 9 to a positive 9. You've got 12, negative 151, 425. What were they thinking? Even I don't get this crazy. Anyways, alright, so bring down the 12. That's 108. Negative 151 plus 108 would be negative 43. And negative 43 times 9 would be negative 387. Plus the 425 would give me 30. All that for 38? Really? Okay, and then 38 times 9 would give me 342. All that to get to 0. Really? Okay. And again, if this was 12x to the third, then that means the answer starts at 12x squared because it always starts one below. So I have 12x squared minus 43x plus 38. Okay, so let's look at number 10. Number 10 has a positive 10 because sure, why not? 9, negative 111, 216, and negative 60. Oh no, you know what I did wrong? This number right here is not number 8, it's number 10. Whoops. So we'll go ahead and say that's number 10. Let's look at number 8 then. Oy, sorry guys. I guess I should be looking better. Okay, so here on number 8, you can see here I'm going to get a negative 98 as a remainder. This one started out as x squared, so this would be 9x minus 5 with a remainder of 98. Now that 98 should go over the divisor, which was x minus 16. So I would put that here, x minus 16. So keep in mind, if you have a remainder, you're supposed to put it over what you were dividing by. Alright, so let's look at number 11. Find p of negative 3 and p of 3 for the function. Okay, so to find p of negative 3 and p of 3, what we would do is we would put negative 3 and we put 3. Those don't change. Notice when I go from here to here, those don't change. So when it's with an x, then it changes, but here it's not going to change. And then I've got 8, 10, negative 5, 7, 7. 8, 10, negative 5, 7, 7. Okay, so here 8, negative 24, negative 14, negative 14 times a negative 3 should be positive 42. That would give me, minus 5 would give me 37. Times a negative 3 would give me negative 111, because, sure, again, back to why not. Plus 7 would be negative 104. Times a negative 3, which would be positive 312. Yes, it would. So I get a final answer of 319. So P of negative 3 was equal to 319, because here you're only worried, when they give it to you like this, they just care about that remainder. Okay, so let's look at this one. This one is 8 again, 24, 34. 34 times 3 is 102. 102 minus 5 is, or plus 5, plus a negative 5, minus 5, minus 5. We'll go minus 5. Is 97. 97 times 3 is 291. 291 plus 7, oy vey, is 298. 298 times 3 is 894. 894 plus 7 is 901. So P of 3 is 901. That means technically if you put 3 in place of the x's, you would get an answer of 901, or in the other one, 319. Alright, let's look at the next bits. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, so for 12 through 19, don't forget we want to look for the greatest common factor, or then factor quadratics. Difference of two squares, and then difference of two, sum and difference, sum or difference of two cubes. Now that one I haven't gone over lately, but I'll give you all those formulas in class. Okay? So, like, and maybe on the test I'll tell you which ones to look for, because I don't know. I'm in a generous mood. So on like number 12, 9x to the fourth y minus 18x squared y. First thing you should look for is like greatest common factor. If you look here, 9 and 18, I can take out a 9. And that leaves me, I should leave myself more space. I can take out a 9, that leaves me with like a 1. And like say 18 divided by 9 is 2. Here I have 4 x's. Here I have 2. So that means I can take out 2 x's, x squared. And that would leave me with an x squared here. No x's in the second one. And on the y's, I got 1y, 2 y's. So I can take out a y. And that would leave me with 1y over here. And I'm done. So the answer there is 9x squared y times 1x squared minus 2y. Okay, let's look at 13. You've got 18a to the fourth b squared minus 27a cubed b squared. When you got something like this, guys, when you've got like some funky, a lot of extra, let's say, exponents, think greatest common factor. Largest number that will go in 18 and 27 is 9. That would leave me with 2 and 3. And then let's see here. I have 4 a's here. I have 3 a's here, which means I can take out 3. But I'm left with an a for the first one. And on the b's, b squared, so that means I can take out the b squared and be left with no b's inside. Yay! That one's easy. At least that was the hope. Anyways, alright. So how do I do 14? 14 is called factor by grouping, but it's still like greatest common factor. So let me get through here. Okay. So factor by grouping, like put these together, put these two together. Okay, so here, largest number that goes into 30 and 45 is 15. And I can also take out a y. So 15y. And that leaves me with 2x minus 3. So here, I should hopefully have the same thing, 2x minus 3. And the largest number that goes in 32 and 48 is 16. And that would give me 2x minus 3. Because these two should always repeat. So how does this work? Well, you write with the one that repeated. And you put the two that were outside those together. And there's your answer. Okay, you might want to go back and look at some of those and see what you can do. Alright, so let's look at number 15. Number 15 is 3x, seriously, 3x squared minus 16x plus 20. Okay, so that one we can see here that we can factor And this is what I would do. I'd put 3x, 3x. This has got one of those with the front. Minus plus is a minus minus. Multiply the numbers on the end. So I'm looking at 60 here. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to give me 60 and add up to 16. So 10 and 6 would work. And again, one of these has an extra 3 temporarily. This one did. So now I can get 3x minus 10, parentheses, x minus 2. We'll see about that one. 20x squared plus 9x minus 18. Because, again, back to why not. Alright, let's try it like this. 20x plus minus is plus minus. I'm going to multiply 20 and 18 to get 108. No, 360. And I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to give me 360 and subtract to give me 9. Subtract to give me a 9. Sure. Give me a second. Okay, so I found that to be 24 and 15. And then I would put 24 here, 15 here. Actually, since this one is a composite number, it's not a prime number, 20 is not a prime number, I need to look for something that can divide into both. So what goes into both of these is 4, and that would give me, so I can take out divide here by 4, that would give me 5x plus 6. And then this one is divisible by 5, that would give me 4x minus 3. And you can see here 5 times 4 is 20, 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. Trust me, it works. I will look for something easier. Just because, well, y'all are awesome. Alright. 17, 8x cubed plus 27y cubed. This one is sum of two cubes. 8 is 2 to the third power. 27 is 3 to the third power. So I could go like this. Okay, 2, 3 plus 2 squared is 4. 3 squared is 9. I'm going to have a minus in here in between. And I would do 2 times 3, which is 6. I will give you this formula later if you feel like you can need it. I will let y'all make a note page to help y'all on this one, on the test. Okay, and the cube root of x is, or x cubed is x, y cubed is y. Square this, and then put x, y together, and you are done. Okay, let's look at 18. I'm going to try to get to 25 here, so just kind of go with me on this, and we'll see what we can do here, and kind of go with that. Okay, so this one is x squared, splitting the x to the fourth up. Minus minus is a minus, minus plus is minus minus. Two numbers that multiply give me 784 and then subtract to give me, or I'm sorry, add up to be 65, apparently are 49 and 16. Okay, now notice both of those are perfect squares, so that means I can split that up, x plus 7, x minus 7, x plus 4, x minus 4. Okay, given that this is multiple choice, guys, I will show you a way in class, if you ask, how to make that a little bit simpler, because honestly that one's just kind of crazy. Okay, if you look at this one, x squared minus 15x squared, I'm sorry, x to the fourth minus 15x squared plus 44. Again, x squared minus, I've got two numbers that multiply to give me 44 and add up to 15, which should be 11 and 4. This one I can't do anything with. This one, oh, these are equal to 0. Okay, so I'm sorry, these are equal to 0. So don't forget that you could change the sign of all these. So this one is 7, negative 7, 4, negative 4. Well, cripes, then you could have just graphed this and seen where they cross. Same thing here, although technically since I had set these equal to 0, I can say x squared is minus 11 is equal to 0, x squared is equal to 11. Then that means take the square root, plus and minus, positive 11. Square root of 11. Same thing here with the 4, and that would give me x is equal to plus and minus 2, because the square root of 4 is 2. Alright, let's look at 20 and 21. Not too hard. Okay, so on 20, again, same thing as synthetic division or synthetic substitution. You're trying to find what is equal to here. So Notice there I didn't change the signs, but I've got it set up. Also, because I skipped the x cubed, I put a 0. Because it went x to the 4th, there was no x cubed, so I put a 0. Bring down the 10, 40, 40, that's 160. That gives me 156. 156 times 4 gives me 624. That would be 629. 629 times 4 gives me 2,516. Subtract the 2 and I get 2,514. So G of 4 was equal to 2,514. On this one, 10, negative 60, negative 60. This would become positive 360. This would become 356. 356 times negative 6 would give me negative 2,100. Gosh, these people need to start looking at what they're doing. Plus 5 would give me negative 2,131 times a negative 6, and that gives me 12,786. Say minus the 2, which will give me 12,784. So G of negative 6 is equal to 12,784, because again, why not? Let's look at 21. Alright, so this is going to be my last problem, and then I'll go from there. I'll start part 2 after this. Okay, so let's bring the 1 down. 2 times 1 is 2. That's 2. That's 4. Notice I put zeros here because it started at x to the 5th, so I went x to the 5th, x to the 4th, which was missing, so there was 0, x cubed, x squared, which was missing, so there's another 0. So negative 8, this is negative 16, negative 16 becomes negative 32, negative 32 minus 6 is negative 38, negative 38 times 2 is negative 76, and negative 76 plus 8 is negative 68. So here, G of 2 is equal to negative 68. Okay, let's bring down the 1, negative 7. I don't know why I was putting 0. Negative 7 times itself would be positive 49. Positive 49 minus 12. Positive 49 minus 12 would be 37. 37 times a negative 7 would give me negative 259. Negative 259 times a negative 7 would give me 1,813. Minus the 6 would give me 1,807. And then times a negative 7 again would give me negative 12,649 plus the 8, which would give me negative 12,641. So G of negative 7 was equal to 12,000. I don't even have space to write this. This is ridiculous. Alright, G of negative 7 is equal to negative 12,641. I will do my best to make sure something like this doesn't happen on the real exam. Anyways, that's it for today. I will put up part 2 later, and probably put up a part 3, part 4, part 5, and part 6, it looks like. Anyways, that's it. Y'all are good. Thank you for being awesome. Y'all take care.